Whoops. Sorry. I think I'm on for like 20 seconds too long because I was reading something. Hey, Zenzel. Hey, Kevin. We are in Cleanup Friday, the afternoon in which we're going to tackle as many things on this list as possible. We've gotten done with a lot of these things. In fact, how about we move off the finished things so we can put this here. Yeah. Cool. Hey, Presto. Just okay. Sinistella. Adam does Minecraft today. You know it. All right, so this is the main thing I want to get done, and then everything else is gravy. Get chests to animate items flying out, not the portal. If there's space in the warehouse, it should fly to the warehouse. If there isn't space in the warehouse, I guess they should spew onto the floor of the treasure room. So probably we need some physics. Chest probably shouldn't fade out until the items have finished spewing from it. Okay, did I find any foods? I had some of the ramen that I bought from Costco. Also, I cracked just an egg into it, and I thought, oh, maybe this will like cook the egg. It did not cook the egg. It was fine. I don't mind. It tasted good. But I thought 4 minutes of boiling water would have been enough. It wasn't. Okay. So when we open the treasure chest, we add items somewhere. Oh, I see where this is done. Drop item types. Then what? We finally get these. Here, you loot. We so back. Hey, Matt. How'd your day go so far? I like whatever refers to. Sure. Sure. What is this video? Oh, I haven't watched this show. How I Met Your Mother. My head's on, lowered my mic to talk, and then started typing. You could use speech to text. It could still work. All right, so we just immediately call add items. I don't want to do this. So how would we get this to work? Isn't there like a fly-in item somewhere? Fill item displays. Yeah, I haven't watched How I Met Your Mother. I've just, I think I've seen like half an episode or something. I just wasn't that interested. Maybe if I'd watched from the beginning, it might have been different. But if I recall correctly, and I don't know if I am recalling correctly, it was on TV at some point, like actual TV. And I was just flipping through channels and I saw it that way. When did this start? Yeah, 2005. Yeah. I definitely did see this on TV at some point. And yeah, it was just some random episode and I just, was like, whatever. Okay, so we add here somewhere. Where do we do this? Quantity added. Item.quantity. We literally just changed the quantity here. Ooh. I don't think this is going to be easy to do. And I think if we can't get this to work, then it would not be as fun. So I think we basically need to figure this out. So yeah, what we're realizing, what I'm realizing is we call add items, I guess town.add items on the loot from the chest. This only does two things. It calls warehouse.grant items and then ground items.spawn items. The problem with this is that it tries stacking items on top of whatever's in the warehouse without flying them to the destinations. We need to get that working. And what else? So fill item displays. Yeah, this needs to be fixed. And then what else do we have here? This we just call set item. Set item doesn't take in a position. There's drop off item takes in a position. So we need to call that. So we need to be able to pass in a position to this. Okay, let's do it. Vector to start position. Finally feeling like I'm making progress. Project's a little bit of a mess. Sometimes my brain just won't even. Yeah, I know the feeling. I have the feeling today that I want to just put in a bunch of time on this, but it's I don't know how to describe this more than just it feels like streaming is slowing me down. But it's probably not that. It's probably just that I'm tired. So anyway, let's see where we can make progress with this thing. Drop off item. Start position. So if I just do this. Also, let's have treasure chests start with like 1,000,000 items in them. I think that'll help. So where is starting quantity? Yeah, starting quantity. We'll put 25 items in here. There. Bressel's got a new catchphrase. Okay, so now we make an item and we click this. And if I grant the entire warehouse, they should fly into the warehouse, I think. No, wait, they're not going to do that because they never... Wait, no, that whole thing broke. What just happened? Wait a second. I changed some random number here. I meant to change this number. But I messed up something else too, so it didn't matter. Oh, hey, it made a sound. When's the next vacation? Feel like you haven't taken one in ages. So I don't know when the next like proper vacation will be, but I'm not planning one before launch. Now, if push comes to shove, I will just take one. I want to launch the game this year, and I want to make sure we're getting through a lot of this stuff. And yeah, there's just something to do every day. I also have not been having much success with marketing lately. I sent out, I think, 48 emails, and I got responses from maybe like 3 or 4, and no one actually made a video. At least not from that group, I think. Someone did make a video, just uploaded it today. Relatively small YouTuber. I enjoyed the video and everything. It was nice. But I need some like mega YouTuber to cover this. Do I follow up? No, I have not yet. So I'm going to start to do that, I think. Maybe next week is just all about follow-ups. Normally I reach out to 15 new influencers. Maybe I do like 45 follow-ups next week. Ari, you really should play my idler. Play my game or else. Yeah, that's great. That's a good email. I like this marketing campaign. You know, you could probably make a horror game or something and write emails like that. Although you'd probably get put on some kind of list. But yeah, I should do that. Play my cutesy game with skeletons and items. Or I'll turn you into a skeleton with an item. All right, so get loot. Add items is here. We're going to just hard code this to be the treasure chest position, which we wouldn't have from here. But let's just take the treasure room and get its global position for now. We can figure this part out later for sure. Knocks the normal structure so much they just have to watch. You mean open the email? Yeah, I think I've tried some like zany outreach strategies. And some of them I think were funny. Some of them took me time to come up with or write. And I still just don't get responses. So what I assume is happening is that these YouTubers are getting flooded with emails and they just don't open them all. That's probably it. But who knows? Maybe it's that they're opening it and they're just like, I don't like this guy at all. Got the craziest email asking me to play their game. Definitely gonna get a video made. Well, the problem is I am an influencer myself. So I think not all press is good press for me. Okay, this is looking pretty good actually. It's not coming from the right spot, but that's okay. We can fix that, of course. But that's the easy part that we just did. Then spawning them on the ground, I'm not sure what we're going to do with this. Also, spawn items spawns them in a particular position. The portal position, presumably. How does it know? Oh, we set a spawn location in here. And there's just one. and this is probably set to the portal. So we need another ground item spawn location, or just a way to override this. Okay, not bad. And then where is this used? Whoa, I didn't know this was code. We check to make sure that the item is close enough to the slime before we eat it? I wonder if there's ever a problem there. Huh. I never thought about that. All right, well, the ground item thing is not probably all that hard to do, right? How do we do this? Spawn item with delay. We give it the location. Yeah, so we could just pass in a different location if we wanted to. Biggest salad influencer. Biggest bingo bango bongo influencer. So grant items is our last problem to figure out. Grant item. General Mudkip, thanks for the resub. I swear I've not seen your name in a long time. When did I last see you? December. It has been a long time. How have you been doing? Skeleseller collab, that would be nice. Darkstorm has probably the only Skeleseller mug in the world right now. University took me out the past couple months. Are you almost done with it? Are you finished with it? I'm glad you're doing well. So we got to fix this now. Fill item displays, which is presumably only called from here. It is. So we'd pass in a start position. Maybe this will be easy. Maybe it'll be easy. So instead of this item.quantity plus equal whatever, we need to somehow make the item fly into that particular display. So can we just do that? Item display dot drop off item. Drop, isn't it drop item? Oh, I typed the wrong thing. Drop off item. Create an item that just has the quantity we want to add. And that's it? Does it work? Just on the first year. Wow, started an internship at a Fang a few weeks ago. It's pretty good. Pretty good. Good momentum. Excited to see where Skeleseller's at. It's come a long way since December. In February of this year, I decided, hey, we should make a farm. So we added one of these to the game. And it works in the typical quirky Skeleseller way, where you put potions into this extractor. And it... Well, the skeleton just took the potions from me. And it puts seeds on your farm, which then start growing. And then I'll just speed this up. Then you can harvest it. It goes in this chef slime, which gives you wisdom sludge, which you use to level up your adventurers. So yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff. Okay, so here is where we start to get a little bit difficult about this. Let's go try this out. We'll save this here. We're going to open this up, and it should work. Please work. Oh, we can't do things that way. No, 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 no. We need to split the stack. All right. So how do we do this? We gotta fill the whole warehouse. Oh no, it's gotta be the same item though. Drat. Okay. We can do this. We just pick cleric and then cleric again. And then open those, and it should only be holy scepters. Good. Then we get item stacking. And we open up 2 more chests. And it should stack onto the existing ones. That's not a cleric thing. What the heck? What's going on? This is set to cleric. Oh, right-clicking doesn't do that. Oh my goodness, it worked. I thought this would be the hard part. This isn't bad at all. I think it worked, yeah. Okay, let's get another cleric chest here, and let's get one more thing of item stacking. And then open this up and see what happens. Yeah. Wow, that's pretty good. Maybe not fine. Okay, there's a lot of cleanup we have to do. And those sound effects are driving me nuts right now because I'm not actually playing the game, so they're just going off in the background. Oh, okay. So the cleanup. Let's write this down. So things to clean up. Make the treasure come from the chest, not from the upper left of the treasure room. So that was number one. Number two is ground items. Yeah. What happens with ground items? And then the last thing was, oh God, what is it? What is it? It's something important. Oh yeah. Animate this. So ground items, you have to figure that out. So if there isn't space in the warehouse, it should fly to the warehouse. That part's done. If there, oh sorry, if there is space. If there isn't space, they should spew onto the floor. Okay, so we have a couple options. But I think there's only one clear winner here. So let's say the whole warehouse is filled and you open up like 100 items. Where do those 100 items go? And I think where they should go is just on the ground near the treasure chest. So they basically like spew onto the ground, sort of like they do. So imagine this is the treasure chest up here. It would just look like that. They come out of the portal. In fact, if I just click this and do this, yeah, I think that's what should probably happen. The issue is this is going to be up here. Yeah, all right, let's code it. So we're going to need some collision areas around there. I'm not actually sure what's going to happen with this. And spawn items should also take in a position. So let's put this here. And then take in a position, vector to question mark, spawn override. Is a quick menu going to work on chest items? Yes, it already does, in fact. So if we get this and get this and get these. So if I pick up a thing here, it says, well, it says question mark, so I don't have that. But if I pick this up, it says guild, and it shows a different icon. And then with potions, it'll show shop. So yeah, it shows you, you can pretty much just always press 1 and it'll go to the right location you want it to go to, the shop or the guild. Spawn location. Spawn location is used in spawn item. There's spawn item with delay, which now needs to take in the spawn override, which is set to null. So then this takes in this thing. And we do spawn override question mark spawn location. Okay, let's try that out. So now if you don't have the warehouse or if the warehouse is filled, it'll now spawn at the treasure chest. It's slightly off. It's going to spawn at the upper left of the treasure room. But I think the physics is going to be broken on this. So as soon as I open this chest, 15 items are going to go somewhere. Yeah, they like went into the trees and stuff. Oh, man. All right. And they're, oh, skeletons are taking them. That's why they're disappearing, because they're getting as close as they possibly can. Sounds excited, so I'm gonna have to start a new save and let him go. Oh man, there's a lot of pressure. I thought it was just Matt, but now it's Matt's son. Okay, so we gotta add physics to this. How did we do it for the rest of this thing? He already loves the game. What if he's like, I don't like treasure chests in the game. This is not fitting. What if that happens, Matt? What if your easy to please son doesn't like the game? I think these nav tiles are what does this for us. So maybe we just throw a bunch of nav tiles up here. Let's try it out. Click. Okay, so we gotta match this. This is temporary right now, but this ridge is the edge. So it follows this vertical ridge exactly. So let's remember that. This vertical ridge. So we're gonna put a box around it like this. There. So this is going to look bad, but it's going to test whether that is all I need to do. Because the items are going to spawn from here and then bounce against this invisible barrier. Yeah. Yeah. Well, then you'll have some 11-year-old feedback. That's true. But then you'd be a liar or a misleader. No, I think any feedback would be good, and I appreciate that you're gonna play test and show this to your son, and I do hope that everyone just finds it fun. I I can predict a couple pieces of feedback, which I think are fine, but I think if people are like, this system just kind of landed flat for me, I think that would be bad. Because to me, this looks like it's shaping up to be fun, and I hope I'm not misjudging this. Have you been finding Godot? I like Godot. I started learning it in 2020 and I never really did anything with it. So this is the first full game I'm making with it. And I think it's been pretty good. I think there are some quirks. I think there are some bugs that I'd like to have fixed, but otherwise, yeah, it's generally been smooth sailing. And I think the whole point of a game engine is to get you going faster than if you had made everything yourself. And it let me do that. I think with Botland, I was using a bunch of different technologies, and I think I just felt like I was struggling against them a lot. Yeah, I could fix some of those bugs. I do try to file bugs when I find them. Okay, so this is done. We would need physics in the warehouse, or physics in the treasure room, and we don't have it yet. So they're just going to go somewhere. I don't think we should actually make this change here. I think I should just Command Z it all. Need physics in need nav boundaries for the treasure room so that loot doesn't spew into unwalkable territory. All right, the animation part might be difficult. Treasure from the chest, not that. Yeah. It's probably a good sign. Yeah, I'm glad to hear it. I think things are shaping up to be good. I think the challenge modes are going to be the last difficult thing to figure out. And we're going to start working on that on Monday, whether or not this is done. I think Monday is the time to start designing that. Seems like a really fun technical challenge, but not sure it's the best way to get a game made. Yeah, I'm kind of torn on this. I feel like if you know what you're doing and you decide to make a game engine, that it's an okay decision. I think if you read online that you should make a game engine, that it's a terrible decision. I think you should really be eyes wide open going into that sort of challenge. And a lot of people, when they say make a game engine, they really just mean like, take this for rendering, this for sound, this for something else. That's not really making a game engine, I'd say. The people who make a game engine are the ones who are like writing the rendering system themselves or writing the sound system themselves. And that's, I think, a kind of a dumb undertaking in general. But yeah, as a general thing. Like I said, I think there are people it makes sense for, and they know who they are. Interface. I think as a solo dev, it's hard not to use an existing engine just because of the amount of extra time and effort. Yeah. I kind of look at it the same way I look at marketing. Like, you make a game, and now you want to market that game. But let's say you were like, you know what? I'm going to make a YouTube channel. Now you have to market videos so that you can market your game. And it's like a layer of indirection that you don't necessarily want to apply. So instead, it's like rather than make a game engine and then make a game in that engine and have two products, why not just make one product? Yeah. All right. So the animation thing, this might actually be a more difficult challenge than I thought. So we get all the loot from the treasure chest, but we want to spew these out like kind of a few at a time. So we need to split the loot into like quarters maybe, or maybe not quarters, maybe however many items we want to have come out of this thing at once, or we just animate them all coming out of it at the same time. Yeah, that last one can work. Hey, Joss. Okay, so why don't we just get the location of this thing? Add items is here. And we could pass in the start location. Treasure chest get global position. Yeah. Vector to question mark start position equals null. Okay, so this goes here. Then this gets changed. Then this gets removed. And that'll fix the treasure chest part. Why is this red still? Oh, because there's one other add items that needs to be done. This can just pass in null, right? What does this get? Loot? There. Okay, let's try running that. So this should fix the start position. So if I go try this out and we open up this chest, we should see the items fly from here. Yeah, they're pretty fast. I don't think I really mind the speed of them. I just wanted to be clear where they came from. I think it's 0.6 seconds that it takes. So it's like, it's visible. It's obvious that it's coming from up there. Is that convincing now, the animation? Like it opens and they just like shoot out? I think so. Yeah, I think this looks good. So now if there's no space, like there will be here, then the extra ones just shoot out onto the ground. This is not so convincing. It looks like they're hovering in the air. I think they need to like spray downward to make it look like the physics is convincing for this. Yeah, they're just kind of floating there. Alternatively, what we could do. I don't have an alternative there, actually. I'm not sure. I was going to say maybe what they could do is they could spew from here just into a general area on the ground. Could you scale up or down the sprites to make it seem like they pop out of the chest? I can do that, yeah, but I think the problem that I have here is whether or not they're scaled up or down, they just sort of like settle in the air is what it looks like. Because the only other place we used this effect was down here in the portal where it actually looks pretty convincing. So like it looks like it's shooting out of the portal. But that's because the portal's already on the ground. So when it goes above it, it's still on the ground. But the treasure chest is kind of floating off this platform. So when you open it and there's no space, it doesn't look convincing. Mm. Oh, I think I see what you're saying, General Mudkip. Make it seem like they're dropping. That might work. I guess if it doesn't, I don't know what I would do. So what am I doing here? Spawn with delay. Spawn item. And there's a spawn location. So what we could do here is say if spawn location is not equal to spawn location, then tween equals item create tween. Tween dot tween property. The scale. And how does this work? The object, the property, the final value, and the duration. So new vector 2, final value is 1, 1. Duration, pretty small. These other things, set ease, in, out, I don't know. And set transition, cubic. And then we need to set the items scale equal to a new vector 2, like 1.2, 1.2. Okay, let's try that. Oh no. What happened there? That didn't look good. Like the position stopped. I guess because that's also happening via tween, so we need to like set parallel on this thing. How do items... Oh, there's an impulse, and that's probably messing everything up. I don't know if we can do both of these things. Because they're rigid bodies and I'm changing the scale on the fly. Sets the scale below one. I don't think that's what's happening. And there shouldn't be any way to go past this because we're not using elastic or something. I think what's happening is just these are rigid bodies, and instead of just applying a force to shoot out from here, they're also scaling as they're applying that force. It's probably just messing up the physics system. Because I think you're not supposed to do this with rigid bodies. Let me look this up. Item has a... It is a rigid body, yeah. So Godot, rigid body, 2D, change scale while moving. Why scaling doesn't work. Physics engine enforces this scale to remain at 1. This is intentional to ensure accurate physics calculations. Any attempt to scale it will either have no effect or be overridden during runtime. All right. So what we could do instead is not have this be a rigid body and make our own like little physics thing, which I don't think would be fun to do. Alternatively, we could just not scale it. So how about let's get rid of the scaling for now. How else could we make this look so that it's not trash? Well, when coming from a treasure chest, maybe instead of using physics, we control the path. Or maybe we just apply this going downward the whole time. Like here, item position minus spawn location, direction to body. To body, what? Why don't we just make this go downward? Vector to direction to body is vector 2 dot down dot rotate, and then we rotate by a random amount. Rand range negative, what is this, radians, I guess? I don't know what this is. Are these radians or degrees? Radians. Okay. So let's see. If we'll do like math.pi divided by 4 to math.pi divided by 4, and then make one of these negative. And then use that. What's the problem here? Argument cannot convert from double to float. Is rotated taking in a float? Yes. And this is returning a double. That's fine. I don't care about precision loss here. So if not mistaken, this is going to make like a cone out of the bottom of this where the items are just going to spray out. Why are they bouncing off this thing? Oh, because they need collision. Okay, we could turn that off. Item is in the portal / items layer and collides with world / environment. So we need the treasure chest displays to not be in world / environment. If we just turn this off, it would make it so the items don't collide with it, but then skeletons also wouldn't collide with it. So let's turn it off for now and just see what happens. It's not good. Is it working? Why does it look like they're getting stuck? That one looks a lot better. Maybe this was just randomly bad. Yeah, it was just randomly bad. Okay, is that more convincing? I think it'd be more convincing maybe if we changed this to be going at least as far as the treasure stand. Man, we have a lot of stuff to change here. I should just save the game like this so we can just click this every time. We need to go farther than that. I think they're colliding with each other. Yeah, I think they're colliding with each other. What if for these we just turned off collision on the items? But then what would happen? They're not going to collide with anything. So we do item dot turn off collision. And now they're always going to spew in this range for this distance, not collide with each other, not collide with the environment. They wouldn't bounce, no, but we could maybe make that look okay. They don't even move now. Oh, because we freeze every force on them. Oh god, it's not just turn off collision. Okay, well, you still can turn off collision by just changing the collision layer and the collision mask. So now this isn't freeze. This is a true turn off of this thing. And yeah, now we'll see that behavior I was talking about. It's not bad. We need them to go a little bit farther than they're currently going. Maybe this needs to be like 200. Hmm. Okay, fine. 250 to 400. Whoops. Okay, that's pretty good. All right, so how about the convincingness of this, though? Does it look like it's going onto the ground? Yeah, I think so. I think so. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. So what if we delete the navigation over here and we allow workers to go directly up to the treasure room? Are they pickable or am I going to lose them when they spawn there? Oh, the whole treasure room is going to move. Imagine that the trees are not a problem. So just try to imagine the trees don't exist there. Like the way I'm picturing this will work is that the warehouse is only going to be the bottom half of what is currently the warehouse. And instead of having individual item displays, we're going to have shelving units that'll consolidate quite a lot of this. And then the top half of the warehouse will turn into the treasure room where, I don't know, the treasure chests are all aligned like at the top and then they spew items downward. I might need to change some things, but I'm not sure. Yeah. So let's see. So now the skeletons can just walk up and take it. Hmm. kind of want physics to work, but just only with the world itself, nothing else. And we can do that. It just involves changing a lot. Okay, well, anyway, let's consider this. So we have a certain angle and velocity when we call spawn item, and spawn item is called from spawn item with delay. So what we really need to do here potentially is override the start position, the angle, and the velocity. So we need an entire object for this stuff, like spawn physics properties or something. And then we just need to pass that through everywhere. Yeah. Alternatively, we pass in like an enumeration saying whether to spawn going downward or upward. I think that's probably good. So we could say public enumeration spawn spew type. And we could just say circle and then downward cone. Something like that. Now what? It wants this to be somewhere else. Field should not follow an enumeration. Okay. No, that doesn't work either. No, highlight this yellow too. Tell me it did everything wrong. It didn't. All right, so when you spawn items, we want to have a spawn spew type. And then we want to pass this in here. And then based on the spew type, we change this. So if spew type is a circle. So the old code that we had is what we want for this one. If it's a cone, we're going to do this. Well, this goes up here. And then this was, I think, 150 to 300 or something. And then, what did I used to have there? It's 50 to 350. Just copy paste this. I don't know what I'm doing here. Yeah. There. Customize the center of the arc. I don't want it to be super customizable. We only have this one scenario now where it's either coming from the portal or it's coming from the treasure chest. If we ended up adding a third one of these, yeah, we'd probably want to be able to parameterize this somehow. But for now, I think this should be fine. So we can't do this. Also, we could technically figure this out based on where this thing spawned from. So we don't even need to pass this in, but we probably should. Okay, so where do we go? Add items. So then this thing can't know how to add the items unless we pass in the spew thing. I think I'll just go this in here. Spawn location, ground items. Yeah. If spawn location is not equal to the spawn location, then set spew type to the downward cone. If spawning outside of the portal, change the spew type. This is hacky, since we just assume this means we're spawning from a treasure chest. I don't really care about that right now, though. It's like a real office meeting. This rambling could have been an email. All right, so this should go downward. But over here, it should go in a circle. Yeah, nice. Okay, so next up we have to fix the collision. So that part's done. Chest shouldn't fade out until the items have finished spewing from it. Is this not convincing? I didn't actually look at that. So when does the chest fade out? No, I think it looks good. I think it's fine. We could maybe make it take a tiny bit longer to fade out. Where's the fade function here? Treasure chest display. Fade out. It's 0.75 seconds. I could just make it 0.85 seconds or something. Yeah, I think confetti or particles, and Monadic Bind already talked about particles. I think they're already on the list. We got to do something like that. Make the treasure to come from the chest. That's done. And then the nav boundaries. So that's the only thing we need. But in order for the nav boundaries to work at all, we need to make it so that these items don't collide with one another. But they do collide with the environment. Did I change the environment? I did. So how is item set? Collision is in layer 2. And it looks in layer 1. And I have this written down somewhere here. Godot engine, collision. Oh, Mudkip, thanks for gifting subs. There's the confetti. You should not show up for 7 months more often. Kidding. Thank you. I appreciate it. And welcome new subs. MDiv. Yeah, I know. All right, here it is. So a contact is detected if object A is in any of the layers that object B scans, or object B is in any of the layers scanned by object A. So how do items collide with one another then? That shouldn't be a thing. Oh, Kevin, thank you too. Now you can't say you're a dodger. You have to. See you in 7 months. Got some Severance to watch. No, I hope your internship goes well, and I hope university goes well, and that you're not actually leaving for 7 months. But I understand if there's a lot of pressure on and everything, especially to watch Severance. It's a long show. They got a lot of hallways to walk through. So if two objects are on the same layer, they collide with each other? I don't think that's true. Yeah, I don't think that's true. I think we can test this really quickly. We make a new scene and add in a rigid body, which needs a sprite and a collision shape. The sprite will just be literally anything we can find quickly. Just search for PNG. Sure, the boulder sprite or something. I don't know, it doesn't matter. Yeah, sure, this. Okay, so it's going to be this entire scene. The collision shape is going to be turned into a rectangle that represents this whole thing. And then we give this thing gravity. Where's gravity? There it is. So then we save this, run current scene, delete me, and it should just fall. Nice. Okay, good. So now I want to see, do these things collide with one another? This is like the weirdest way of doing this. All right, so we put one of those there. And then we give this collision with the other, like, just like the other thing had. Then we put in a static body 2D. So this is going to be the, quote unquote world, which we're going to make a shape at the bottom of the screen. There we go. So they'll all fall to the bottom of the screen. And then we just put 2 of these down and put the other one like up here or something. So now what happens? Do those 2 things collide with each other? No, they don't. So why are items acting weird? Yeah, I don't understand that. Oh, maybe because they were colliding with the display. Because, oh, okay, yeah, the portal doesn't have collision. I see. Did I turn it off? I did not turn it off. So, man, what do we do? I guess we put the displays on their own thing. There'd be no other way to know this, would there? Yeah, I guess we have to do that. What does it say? Just clickable? And then layer 4, yeah. So the only displays we have are things like item display. Where's this thing? Static body. Collision is set to 1. Man. All right, fine. Let's do it. So where do we find our physics stuff? I don't know where this is. Here it is. So this would be item displays. So this becomes layer 4. Treasure chest display becomes layer 4. Items normally try to collide with layer 4, but we're going to turn them off in this case. And then workers need to collide with layer 4. So NPC has nothing. What? Who has... Oh, collision shape. Wait a second. What? This has collision setup? So it's considered to be... It's considered to collide with the world, so it should also collide with that. That's a worker. I guess adventurer needs the same thing. Doesn't this inherit from something that I can just set this for everything? Yeah, why don't I just do that? So now adventure is already set. Yeah, nice. Okay. Ooh. All right, and now for the main thing we got to do. I set the mask to be 0. We can't do that anymore. Items normally collided with just the world. Now they also collide with item displays. We want to just turn off item displays. So how do we manage that? And what even is this? It's the mask. And this is a uint. Okay, so we want to and equal it with 1. Which I guess is just setting it to 1, right? Way more productive. It's seeing stuff happen. There's an audience. All I ever wanted was to ignore you all. Now I get my wish. All right, testing this might be a little difficult because we don't even have, well, I guess we could test it here. Items should not collide with this stuff now. Yeah, but workers should. How do I apply to be a mod here? You just did. Analyzing application, analyzing progress, 0.1% out of 100. Yeah, I have to come back later. Also, you might have had a bad experience with mods on their channel, but I'd be very surprised if anyone's had a bad experience with mods in this channel. We generally don't have many moderation problems, but also have a moderation guideline thing I shared with all my mods. And pretty much the only one I really care about is don't ban people as a joke. But I'm usually pretty active in moderating stuff myself anyway. Oh, this is kind of funny. Because I opened up this top part now, skeletons can wander around in this outside area because whatever wander region they have is actually a large rectangle and they just never used to be able to make it there. So how does this even impact anything? I guess as long as, oh, that's not good. That's really not good. That's really bad. Are they going to, nope, they just get stuck. Wow, that's horrendous. I might have forgotten something critical that I don't know how we even find at this point. Is there a navigation agent or the nav mesh maybe needs to include that in its thing? Nav region, nav layers 4. What are these? These aren't physics layers. Huh, that's weird. Maybe it is a physics layer? Navigation agent component. Let's just try this again. Maybe it's just magically fixed now and they just didn't update this in the editor. I'd be kind of surprised because this is a pretty easy to fix bug if they did. So now I just click this and see if any get stuck. No, they're still getting stuck. Yeah, that's why I said I'd be surprised if this fixed this. So it did not. So we need to figure out what's going on here. Ooh. I guess navigation is looking at the wrong layers. Rebake nav mesh. Bake navigation polygon. Nav region. Nav region? What is this? Navigation region 2D. That's what I was just touching, right? Yes. This is not good. This is definitely not good. Because I don't know how to do this. What's this stuff? Parse collision mask. Oh, there it is. Oh, we just set it to 4. I'm glad I just randomly clicked things. Could have been like an hour-long problem. Let's see if that fixed that. So I wait for them to wander in there and then click this. Yeah, now they're not getting stuck. Well, well, well. Good job, Skellies. All right, so I guess that's fixed too. And now just the nav boundaries for the treasure room. When we finally make the treasure room, we just got to put these in. So I need to undo the environment change that I made. And I guess delete me.tscn. Yeah. Let's go write this down. The treasure room should... Oh, darn it. How are we going to do this? Maybe we do modify the environment. Maybe we move the treasure room. We need the warehouse change. We need shelving in the warehouse so that the treasure room isn't off to the top somewhere. We have the shelving item or the graphic. It's just not trivial to add this into the game. Well, the graphic is easy, but this is what we want. So imagine having your swords displayed like this, whereas right now they're displayed on individual item stands. So the difficult thing about shelving is that this represents 6 different units of storage, but it's 2 graphics? No, 3 graphics. A left end, a right end, and a middle. And if you added another like 40 item displays, it would still just be 3 graphics. So yeah, that's the issue. Is we can't just have a discrete item display object. We need shelving to be its own like drop zone or something. I don't know what. And then picking up items from it is also going to be a little bit difficult. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that. All right, so what do we do in the meantime? Let's close everything else. So if the treasure room is going to be up here, I guess we should allow workers to walk to it. It doesn't make sense that they couldn't. So yeah, we should change that stuff. And maybe even lay out the treasure room differently. Where is the treasure room? Did I just hard code a number? I probably did. Oh no, the sign is somewhere. I didn't look at the sign. Where's the sign? Oh, it's collapsed. That's why I couldn't find it. Treasure sign. There it is. Okay, so it's there right now. How close to the warehouse does it get? It's like 3 tiles away. So we should move it 3 tiles down and then over by like 4 or 5 tiles. So transform, we want this to be, let's just divide by 16. 6 times 16. And then this divided by 16 times 16. Okay, good. So now what I said is like 4 tiles over. So plus 64. And 3 tiles down, plus 48. And then we try building this, see what happens. It looks like it's too close. Oh, I guess it is just one tile too close. So let's bump it up by another tile and over by another 2. So up by 1, over by 2. 2 is too many. Well, maybe it's not too many. I don't know. Yeah, that looks pretty nice. It's good enough for now, at least. We might want to make the treasure room longer than it currently is, too. So now we open up this space, but then the bulletin board should be somewhere else. Maybe we put that off to the left side. I guess it can go anywhere. Yeah. Got to go do some stuff. If I return, nothing. If I don't, happy weekend, y'all. Okay, take care. Is a Pressel RPV LLC, or at least 1/3 founder extraordinaire. Hope you have a good weekend. But if you do come back too soon, then nothing. Okay, so we're going to tweak this a little bit. I guess let's change the treasure room itself. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this. So we're just going to move this somewhere off to the side. There. Yeah, as long as it's not obscuring anything else. And then we need to modify the environment to open this up a bit. So we go to the nav layer, delete all of this. Why is that not working? Because of that. Delete all that. And allow them to just walk. Oops, what's going on? Allow them to walk up to as far as here. I don't know where this ends, so we need to make this visible collision shapes and see if we can enclose the treasure room. We did not. But that actually should maybe still be fine. No, now it's going to spew items onto that boundary. Yeah. Okay, that can't work. Let's properly then move it up by another couple tiles. What just happened? Okay, let's try that. Does it just automatically modify it in the game? Oh, it does. So now what? Does this work? Yeah, that's pretty good. And then we would just need to delete these trees and stuff, which for the sake of playtesters, I'm not going to do yet because I know this isn't final. Oh, but what happens when we add in the other displays? Ah, now this is too low or too high because now the treasure chest is going to be right on the boundary of that. Oh, it just never ends, does it? So we got to make this go even higher. Now what? Is it good? Yeah, now it's good. Right, we open this. It doesn't go into that. Oh, but now it's stuck on top of these. That's never going to work. Can you turn this off on the fly? No, you can't. You got to restart Godot. Yeah, I hadn't thought about this. I think we need to put him in a horizontal line or else this illusion kind of breaks down. So if I do this and then I take a picture, yeah, it looks ugly. Fine, so we just squeeze the whole thing so that it gets wider. Yeah, I don't have any other ideas, and it's not that hard to do, so let's just do that. So let's keep track of what its current dimensions are. 2, 4, 6, 8 by 2, 4, 6, 7. So it's 8 across by 7 down. Could have all the chests. Could have the chests all fly to the same location when opening them. Oh, I never thought of that. I never thought we could move the chest. But I do kind of like this. Yeah, I kind of like how they're arranged right now. But yeah, I hadn't considered that option. I think if we just put them in a line, I think it'll be fine because then they'll only spew downward. And I think it'll also still look pretty nice. So what am I doing here? Clicking this and hoping it just shows a terrain. It probably did not, though. No, it shows a tile. Okay, well, what is this? Cobblestone sand. Where's cobblestone grass? Tile grass? No, that's not right. Oh, that looks pretty nice, actually. Do we have anything else that we haven't used before? I think that's fine. Yeah, I kind of like that. Okay, so we're going to make this longer than it currently is. So this is how long it is now. And if we make it like that big, so maybe something like that. Do we use this? Oh, we use the terrain for the warehouse already. It still works. We just need to make this bottom part connect cleanly to the warehouse, which we couldn't easily do. If you had an area to settle, you could pick a point inside the bounds of the area to lerp them to as well. I think it might look strange if like the left treasure chest is shooting loot down into the right and the right one is shooting it down into the left. But maybe it'd look fine. I'm not sure. All right, let's get rid of this now. So this is going to change where the sign needs to go. So now it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 by 4. 11 by 4 now. So we moved it 3 tiles too far to the left. So it's got to be 1.5 tiles off now. So we subtract 24. That can't possibly be right. No, yeah, that can't possibly be right. We need to add 24. And then we brought this closer by 4 tiles. So plus 1.524. I don't know, something like that. Let's just try it. See what happens. If you have 2 rows, if you have the top 2 rows of the warehouse storage, wouldn't the items spew on top of them? The warehouse is eventually going to change into being that shelving that I talked about. So like imagine this. This is a lot denser to store items. So imagine we had a row of like 5. Sorry. Imagine this extended such that it could hold 5 items on each shelf. That would hold 10 items in a like a 5 by 2 area or something. Whereas now to hold 10 items, it takes up like this much space. So we'd get rid of, I don't know, 4 columns here, and we'd be able to compact the warehouse down to something such that this top space would now be accessible. So that's kind of what I'm envisioning in the future, and that's what we're kind of trying to work toward. Okay, so we want to move this left by like 3 tiles. Did I add that? Is that good enough for this to just work? No, it isn't. We need to restart this. Okay, X position is, I think, fine. Now we go down by 2 tiles. Plus 32. What did I just type? I think I did times 32. That's good. That's what I wanted. So now we have to arrange these in the right spots. So let's go figure out where those should be. Treasure chest display. So first one can go there. And then we just kind of evenly space them out. Do I have a wiki or Steam page? Yeah, check that out. It's a game about running a small town and battling with adventurers and collecting a bunch of loot. That looks pretty nice, right? Yeah, let's just make sure they're evenly separated. So 2438 to here, which is 15138. And the intermediate ones are at 66 and 110. So that's 42, but then we add 44, and then we add 41. So the full distance we have is this 127. We want to divide that by 3, so we want to add 42 each time. So yeah, that's what we do. So we go to more displays and copy these numbers in. This is the first one. We're just going to paste them in for everything, I guess. And then we add 42 plus 42 times 2 plus 42 times 3. Okay, now we search for this and do that. So those are the numbers. They should hopefully look fine. And then we need to move the bulletin board as well. Bulletin board is there right now. Oh, and we need to move the NPC drat. I didn't really think about any of that, did I? All right, maybe we put them here and put this over here and then make a little terrain area for them. This is not working. There we go. It's not centered now. It looks horrible. Yeah, so something like this. I don't know. I've botched everything. This is also going to change the coordinates that we need to anchor that sign to. Well, let's try it out anyway. Yeah, this is C# and Godot. All right, no, that looks pretty good. Okay, so now let's try this. That broke everything. Oh, because I have these here still. Delete those. Pay attention. He needs you. All right, let's get the other treasure stands. Ding, 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 ding. Loot ahoy. Yeah, looks pretty good. It's... How did these get stuck here? Was that from the chest on the left side? It must have been because those are disappearing in the first or the fastest. So I think we need to spew them farther down or in a narrower cone. Yeah, I think the slightly narrower cone idea is fine. So ground items, spew type. Instead of math.pi divided by 4, let's do divided by 6. And let's make them go slightly farther. And then try that out. Who let Adam touch the tile maps? Someone gave me unfettered access to this. And I thought, you know, I want to abuse that. Let's make some terrible tile maps. I think it's fine. I don't know. Does this look good? Yeah, I think it looks nice. Okay, let's make 1,000,000 workers so that they can clean these up for me. Oh, look at how crazy that is. Okay, I want to see if they ever spawn on top of the other displays. They so far have not. Yeah, I think this is looking good. They're all landing down below this. Started the game and died already. That's not even possible. I know you're not playing the game. there's no way to do that. Oh, okay, okay. You're talking about it in the cutscene. I thought you meant in a battle. I'm just gonna look at mushrooms all day. Also, if we unlock another adventure, we'll get a random set of items. I guess we should test with all the items. Because the shield graphics, I think, are larger than the mushrooms. But yeah, they all look good. All right. And we've just been getting tons and tons of stats. So if we look at the mushroom character now, their health is 2,268 because they're level 47 from me just spawning so many of those. Wow. Yeah, I like it. Okay, this is pretty neat. How they're gonna die now? Yeah, their synergies with dying are nullified. Are you ready for this now? We're gonna spawn 1,000,000 keys, and we're gonna let the skeletons figure it all out. Go, my skeleton army. Open the treasure chests. Those need to be walkable too. Oh no, they're stuck. You fools. I never rebaked the nav mesh. Huh, I never thought about that. But that doesn't explain why that one's getting stuck. Hmm. I wonder if they'll ever drop off the keys. Doesn't look like it. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. They're just stuck forever. Need to rebake after building the building. That is already probably happening, but I don't think after building the extra displays that it's happening. Yeah, we rebake it here, but we also need to listen for added item displays or added displays plus equal rebake navigation mesh. Yeah. So we need an action for that. Treasure room action. All right, now where do we put that? Here, int num displays to add. So this can be yeah, we just put that here. If num displays to add is greater than 0, then added displays invoke. Cool. And that'll rebake the nav mesh. I don't think that's going to fix it though, because it looked like they were getting stuck on these two. Maybe there's some other problem going on. Let's see. So we need 1,000,000 workers. And we need the extra item displays. And we need treasure chests and a bunch of keys. Let me speed this up. And let me see what happens. It's a little strange that they're walking on top of this. We can change the collision shape to not make that happen. And yes, that should not happen too. They got like totally stuck there. Maybe the nav tiles not getting cleared as you remove them all together. They're gone. There shouldn't be any nav tiles. We can actually just mark visible collision. Oh, there's like 1,000,000 debugger errors. Was that happening here too? No, it wasn't. Yeah, so this looks fine. Are the chests? Oh, the chests themselves are collision shapes? No, I don't think that's true. Treasure chest. Yeah, it's just a clickable area. So what do we want to do then for this? I think I know. I think we just need to make the shape convincing enough. So this, we do something like that maybe. No, then the walk too close. Wait. What was this originally? That? Why are they walking above it then? Because they're trying to get to the treasure chest. I see. So they're trying to path up to this point, and to get there, they have to walk around here. How do I fix that? We could make the whole thing unwalkable. That would work. It would just be a little strange. So we do this. Oh my god, I can't drag that little point. Gotta make this unique. That might fix this. Yeah, let's try that. Because now it's impossible for them to make it there. So they'll get as close as they can get. And since they're always approaching from the bottom, that means that they will go to where I want them to go. Hello, Skelly-mans. No, now they're going the very long way around. All right, well, we can stop that too. You think you're smarter than me, skeleton? Huh? What are you going to do now? Can you move the interaction point below the sprite? I could, but it's also going to change where you end up dropping off keys. And that would be bad. Okay, so now we click that and that and that and that. Cool. Now speed it up. Now that's what we want. It is a little bit hard to tell if this is convincing with all those blue squares on the screen, so let's turn them off. And then now we should be able to tell. Okay. Yeah, that's good. It's really good. Are they done with the keys? No, there's just not enough of them. Okay, I want them to open these. So I guess let's speed it up a little bit more. There we go. And now I want to make sure that when this rises, it doesn't touch where the bulletin board is. It's not even close to touching it. So we could probably lower. It's like here. So you probably lower all this so that it's closer to being flush. Although, as I mentioned, this shouldn't be final anyway. Then I wonder if we should allow for there to be more items on the ground. They have so many keys. Swords kind of look like bamboo. These are supposed to be scepters, but yeah, they do look like bamboo. I guess they're deceptors. Okay, that was funny. I don't care what you say. That is a once in a lifetime joke. All right, we're gonna shrink this. All right. Yeah, I know my productivity took a gigantic hit here. That's okay. That's pretty good. And then we can lower this a little bit and this a little bit. Cool. Where'd the idea for the game come from? Quite unique. Then again, I don't play many games. Believe it or not, came from Final Fantasy 1. The original idea was that I would just make an automated version of Final Fantasy 1, and that's what this game turned out to be. This is the prototype for Skeleseller before we knew it was going to be Skeleseller. So you'd pick a character and you'd get into a battle. So you walk on this overworld, go into this rat, and then you'd pick your battle abilities. And this part's not interesting, but wait for it. We're going to level up pretty soon. Okay, so now we level up, and now we have a skill point, and we can put a point into automation. And what this did is there's now a 25% chance that we don't pick a skill. So if I just keep my hands off the keyboard, it did nothing. But now there's a 25% chance it also chose to do nothing. Anyway, eventually you would fully automate these characters and then they'd just be battling. And at that point, you'd just be moving around the world trying to get into different battles. It wasn't really fun. So this was kind of a flop of a prototype. And what I decided is, well, what if we add in loot that you then have to sell in town? So the battling actually has a purpose. So yeah, that's what led to it. Okay, have we done everything now? What do I still have on this list? Need nav boundaries for that. That part's finished. So now we just have to clean up the code and check in. I think we're going to do this, and then I think I'm probably going to sign off. I've spent like an hour and a half on this one thing, and I don't think it should have taken an hour and a half. I think this is one of those I've been working a lot, and doing mindless tasks is probably a little easier when I'm not streaming. So we separated item displays. So what do we do here? We animate items coming out of the chest. I made item displays and treasure chest displays be on their own collision layer so that we could make items not collide with them. Not collide with chests on their way out. I also took a good clip today of Windy. It's a very common joke in his stream to make fun of me for the size of the keyboard that I have and how few keys, and how you're a better programmer if you have fewer keys. And I said something like the optimal setup is, yeah, let me just see if I can find this clip. I guess I still need to set up the rest of this. I said the optimal setup is a foot pedal and a kazoo. And then he said, what I'm about to share with you, copy link. I really like this clip. I would show it on stream, but I'd never ask Windy for permission. He'd probably be fine with it though. It's so funny. So let's see. We have 1, 2, 4, 8, which is why this is 9, because it's 1 plus 4. Or 1 plus 8, which is 2 to the third. Yeah. Good to maintain the seriousness. No, it's funny. I like that Windy is just goofy in chat sometimes. Okay, this stuff's all looking pretty good. But I guess this wasn't the hard part. Why is this here? This shouldn't probably be here. And it's just worker for some reason. They have facing down here. Yeah, I guess it doesn't matter. Unless we saw something go wrong with workers. Are they still walking around just fine? Yeah. And if we add more? Yeah, they're fine. Okay. Treasure chest display, got another shape. Oh, we should probably write what that is for, because it's not going to be obvious at all. Where is that? Here. Editor description. This is to prevent skeletons, to prevent workers from moving just north of the display to drop off a key into the chest. We stop it from being navigable so that they approach from below. It's just more convincing that way. Yeah. Did that actually save? I didn't press enter. Yes, it did. It's right there. Okay. Let's look at this. Yep, that looks good. And the rest of that's fine too. Okay, so we change the positions of those. That's okay. This is never even used. We can just delete it. And that means this is never used either. We can delete that too. But then we need to set this thing. Oh boy. Okay, so spawns view type. We don't even need this. Why do I even do this? I guess it's fine to say. Yeah, sure, fine. Spew type equals, in this case, we want it to be the downward cone. There. It means this is a hacky way of detecting that we're spawning from a treasure chest, in which case we want the items to spawn downward. Looks good. Looks good. Yeah, nice. All right, I definitely thought that file would be a lot harder to write. It's good. Good. Good, yeah. All right, we're getting to the end of this, actually. This shouldn't be checked in. This is incredibly minor. I don't really care about that anyway. Yeah, nice. All right. Honestly, this is a pretty sensible set of changes that we have here. Oh, whoops. I'm gonna have to retype that. I wanted that sentence. All right, animate items being emitted from chess. I had to make a new physics. Oh, that means that project.godot changed, right? Yeah, I had to make a new physics layer for item displays. We hackily turn off the collision for that too. Where's that? Ground items? Right there. Turn off collision without turning off physics entirely. We still want items to collide with the world. Constant world mask equals 1. World mask. Yep. Take care, Broken Crown. Thanks again for the resub. Have a good weekend. I think today was pretty productive for me too. I just think it slowed down quite a lot in the afternoon. All right, so I had to make a new physics layer for item displays so that workers would still collide with them. But wait a sec. Wait, we could have just put. Oh man, we could have just put treasure chest displays on their own layer that only workers collide with, and then not dynamically done anything with items, right? No, they're not supposed to collide with each other either. That was the important part. So I gotta write that down. That way items don't collide with. Wait, they never did collide with each other. Hold on a second. Why do they spew out of the portal the way that they do then? It's purely randomness. Oh god. All right, I made a little bit of a mistake here. What I did is fine. It's all working the way I wanted to. It's just not the simplest way of representing that. The simplest way would have been we put a treasure chest displays on their own. I'm not even gonna worry about this. We're just gonna do this. It does have a collision shape. It has a collision shape just for clickability though, I think. Not for colliding. Portal. No, it has a static body. What is this for? I don't know what this is for. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what this is for. Might have been to stop workers from walking through it. Like they walk to the side of it, but they don't ever walk like straight through it. Yeah, maybe that was it. And maybe that's what items are colliding with, which is giving them some like weird impulse there. It's all fine. Doesn't matter. So the workers would still collide with them, but items wouldn't. This was somewhat hacky since I just use hard-coded values in ground items to turn them off. All right, what else? I think that's pretty much it. I laid out the treasure room differently so that items would always spew downward. This is the only way that spawning treasure looked convincing from the things that I'd tried. If it's spewed in a circle, then it would look like items were floating in midair. And we can't change the scale of rigid body 2Ds without messing up their forces. All right, we're going to check that in. So this is all handled. So I think that was the most important thing, and I'm glad we did it. There are quite a lot of other things listed here. This is pretty much done now, I guess. Yeah, in fact, if it's done, we should probably move this to the bottom of the list too, huh? I don't want this list to be super massive. We've gotten done with so much stuff. So I'd like to say that I'd spend some time on the weekend or something doing this, but I pretty much have plans all weekend. So, and Monday, I don't want to work on this. I want to work on the challenge mode stuff. That's the plan for all of Monday. So I don't know when this is getting done, which means I don't know when it's going to be in the hands of playtesters. Maybe I'll take a break tonight and come back in a few hours and work some more on this. There isn't too much more to do. Alternatively, we could just like file all these things as issues. I'm going to sync these. Let's fill out what's going on Monday. Tenants. Journal. This is not going to happen anytime soon. I'll just move this down to here. We just have some more cleanup tasks. Treasure chest tooltip, show icons like we do for battle map rewards. Yeah. I'm excited for challenge modes. I'm currently nervous for them because I think a lot is riding on this game being replayable. Enough people have played and wanted more. And like, okay, we are making... Let me reload this so it doesn't keep spewing random letters at me. We're making another few hours of like main mode content. So if challenge modes don't work out, i.e. they aren't fun, then I don't know what we'll do. Like, oh, I guess we'd have to go back to the drawing board. As in, I don't really think the game will work without some kind of replayability, but I don't know what that replayability would be in a way that makes the game fun. A lot of people have asked for some like, oh, what if there's infinite gameplay or something? I don't want to pursue that route. I don't want there to be bite-sized sessions. Like, you don't need to be able to log in for 15 minutes and beat the game. Although I guess as an idle game, it lends itself pretty well to you playing for 15 minutes or just walking away from your computer or something. I think a big piece of this is going to be, and we gotta spend a lot of time on this on Monday. Where are my like ideas and stuff? Oh man, we gotta parse this whole thing probably. So ideas, I think a really important part of making challenge modes fun is going to be the completionist aspect. It's partially a sandbox in that you can choose whatever parameters you want. But then we need some challenges to be worth spending time on. We have a lot to talk about on Monday. Some kind of normal game plus for bigger and bigger numbers to keep diehard players entertained. So I'll give you the short rundown of what challenge modes are. And there's probably a game I could compare these to if only I remembered what some of these games were. I think Hades is probably close, or maybe something like Ember Knights if you played those games. Anyway, the general idea is this. You beat the game once, and now you unlock challenge modes. Or challenge mode or whatever. And you get modifiers. There are positive ones, there are negative ones, and they're like game-changing ones a little bit. So the positive ones could be something like plus 20% income. The negative ones could be something like enemies have randomized abilities or something like that. Game-changing one could be something like the farm is now 10 by 10 instead of 5 by 5. So like the focus becomes the farm instead of just, oh, you get a little bit more from crops or something. And then what you can do is kind of mix and match these. So you're like, okay, I'll take the 20% income and I'll take, negative mod 1 and 2 and 3 because I want a little bit more challenge. And I'll take whatever other things. So you kind of pick whatever things you want and then I'll go play a game like that. So this can drastically change the experience of the game. And we don't necessarily need to balance these. And we could potentially do a lot with this idea. Something to consider though is, unless we added a timer, these are never going to be hard in the classical sense of game difficulty because it's an idle game. So like, if you can win one battle, then you can get infinite gold by just winning that battle over and over and over again. Maybe there's a challenge mode where it's like every single time you win a battle, the enemies get harder so that you eventually won't win the battle. But then I guess there wouldn't be any way to beat that mode, maybe. It'd be hard to make that not fun. I think it'll be hard to motivate people to want to try it out. Like, I think there need to be some rewards that are kind of interesting. And one of the things I was thinking of is that the rewards would be unlocking these modifiers, which in itself is maybe not enticing. So like, if you want to play on maximum money mode, you need to unlock the 20% income modifier. Actually, another idea we could have is like modifiers could level up. E.g., you could get a plus 10% income modifier that turns into plus 50% income. And you can choose any number up to what you've unlocked. Yeah, I need to put some thought into that stuff. I like the ascension levels, where each level is a harder version of the base game. Yeah, what's kind of funny about Slay the Spire, because I've actually been playing a decent amount of that lately too, is it's almost like a subtractive game. You start at your most powerful, and then every ascension is harder, just slightly harder than the last one. So that by the time you're on ascension level 20, you've stacked every single difficulty modifier. So it's sort of like if every modifier you got was negative and you didn't get to pick them. Because in Slay the Spire, it's like level 5 always has these 5 modifiers, and level 10 always has these 10 modifiers. Which takes a lot less time than Skeleseller to beat. That's true, but it's also an actively played game. So Skeleseller has the benefit of you being able to just walk away, which means you can also just beat every single challenge mode by just finding the way to make it idle friendly. Do we have a questions section? I don't think so. So questions. Is it a problem that you can pretty much always idle your way through any challenge? We would need a timer or a difficulty barrier. Basically a timer. Like Risk of Rain 2. Or some other restriction if we wanted it to be hard, since then you would need to make different decisions. I don't know. And other things that I've thought of too are like, what if any character could get any skill in the game? So if I click this, it's like the cleric has regenerate. What if the rogue could get regenerate? What if you are always randomizing all of the abilities that an adventurer has, so that you're trying to keep hiring new adventurers to find like the best adventurer? But is that fun? So anyway, there's a lot to think about. And then even if we decide, yes, that's the most fun thing we can do, how hard is it to implement that stuff? Like, how many modifiers do we need to launch the game with so that it's interesting? That's actually an interesting thing too. How many modifiers / challenges do we need to launch with for people to be able to experiment / explore and have fun? Beat the game in 100 battles. Yeah, that's the kind of thing I was thinking of. That's kind of like a timer. Some of the restriction, like number of battles, like, and maybe that's fun, like you can only do 100 battles. So how far can you get in the game only doing 100 battles? But I don't know if it's fun. You'd have to remove classes for that. Well, classes just wouldn't really mean anything other than just a sprite and a name. So you'd be called rogue, but you'd have, heal and summon and tank and whatever else, but it's just your picture and your name. I guess we could just, well, I don't know. I was gonna say we could like make some amalgam adventurer that's every adventurer, but then they'd all look the same. Randomizers are another fun way that players get more out of games. You could have the forest produce flame swords and have to find how to finish quests and satisfy customer demand. Yeah, could look at how other games do replayability. Randomizers, modified runs. No, infinite content sorts of things, procedural content. I guess that's another thing we could do. We could just say like, oh, you beat the world, you enter a traditional new game plus where we're like, okay, you're level 1 again. Could just have an ascension mode that lets you keep repeating the same run. Not sure how that would be fun. Some of my friends enjoy playing Ocarina of Time and Pokemon randomizers. I'd like to analyze the psyche of that sort of thing. I guess it's you had enough fun playing a game, you like the mechanics of it, that you want to experience more of it, but the game didn't allow for it. So now someone else allowed for it, and it changes how you think about it and what you do. It makes sense on the surface. Coldplay hasn't released a new song in years, and they make 2 new singles in one night. Is there a joke here? Is this an actual thing? Infatuity, thanks for the resub. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it, no, but also, yeah. If it's a reference to something, I don't know what it's a reference to. I've listened to Coldplay before, but I don't know anything. I don't know enough to know if this is like a funny combination of words in reference to Coldplay. It's definitely for mastery. It's not music related. Boy, put a CEO and the CPO on the big screen. They both completely fell into the ground and hit their faces. What? I don't know what we're talking about. Also, what is a CPO? Never even heard of that. Chief Product Officer? Chief People Officer? CEO was cheating on his wife. All right, I don't know what any of this stuff is about, but I should probably look into this off stream then. You have to know every trick to get every item in every area. Yeah. Some of this stuff was like, hey, I speed run the game and I don't want my skills to go to waste, sort of thing. Or I'm into casual speed running. Because I saw some Link to the Past randomizers. Whoa, Motorboat, you just did this recently. Your budget's gone up. Thank you. Thank you, and thank you for the gifted subs. It's nuts that you're up to 116. Like, by current prices in the US, you would have spent $700 on subscriptions in this channel. Think of how many Netflix years you could have had. But thank you. It's very nice. Yeah, anyway, okay, so we'll have to talk about this stuff on Monday. I'm nervous and hopeful. Let's just leave it at that. I'm gonna go find someone to raid. Man, every time I look through my list, it's like I'm following a million people. All right, let's raid CM Griffin. He's usually online later than I am on Fridays. Saying the reference on Discord. Okay, yeah, I'll try to take a look. Okay, thank you all for watching. If you have not wishlisted Skeleseller, please do consider doing so. I am going to be back on Monday. It'll be another full day of streaming. And we're going to work on the challenge mode stuff, mostly design. Probably not going to be coding again till at least Wednesday, but maybe later. So have a good weekend, everybody. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you next time.